Hey guys, so I wanted to make a quick video about lesson 8.9 cooldown. We were working on completing two-way tables as well as relative frequency tables. So let's take a look. So we're looking at two sets of data here, whether or not students played a sport as well as whether or not they played an instrument. So we can see the key has playing a sport on the left side of the bar graph, not playing a sport on the right side of the bar graph, and then within each section we have two different subsections of whether or not they play an instrument. So let's quickly just identify the total number of students for each bar. So this first blue bar represents the kids who play a sport and who also play an instrument. So we can see 1, 2, we have 2 students there. All right, so the second bar, still students who play a sport, but this time these are students who do not play an instrument. We can see that we have 16 students here. Okay, next, our next section to the right are all students who do not play a sport. The first blue bar includes students who play an instrument, and we have exactly 5 students there. And then lastly, we have people who don't play a sport and do not play an instrument, and we have 2 students there. Okay, so right below we're given a table, and all we have to do is complete the missing information. So in this box right here, I need play a sport and play an instrument. Go back here. I see that it's this first blue bar. So we're going to input the number 2 there. Okay, the 5 and the 16 are already there. So this last box, representing not playing a sport and not playing an instrument, we saw earlier in the table that that is 2. All right, guys, the next step is super easy. The totals are just going to be the total in the rows and the total in the columns. So the columns are the ones that go up and down like this. These are the columns. So you're just going to add going downwards. So my total here would be 5 plus 2, which gives me a total of 7 down here. Okay, so now my next total in the next column for not playing an instrument is going to be 16 plus 2, which is 18. Okay, now to get your totals going across in the rows, it's exactly what you think it is. This time we're just going to add going across. So going this way, I have 2 plus 16. I see my screen is a little cut off. Let me just try to adjust it. There we go. 2 plus 16, I have 18 for my total here. And then going this way, I have 5 plus 2, once again 7. So to double check your math, going across at the bottom, I have 7 plus 18, that does equal 25. And then going down this way, 18 plus 7, also 25. So we know that our math is mathing. Also, shout out to the 4 students above. You already have 100% on this cooldown. Kyrie, Renaya, Carlene, and Kevin S. I'm so proud of you guys. Keep it up. All right, so the last part of the cooldown has a relative frequency table that we have to complete. So look at the major difference between the two-way table and the relative frequency tables. The regular table just has the data, just the numbers. But when we look at the relative frequencies, we have percentages that were calculated. Okay, but you have to be careful. You have to read the question carefully to know which totals to divide by. Sometimes it's the totals in the columns, but sometimes it's the total in the rows. So you have to be very careful and read the question. So let's look at this question. Number 2. Using the entries from the actual frequency table, complete this table so that it shows relative frequency based on the rows. So this time they tell us use the row total when you divide. Round entries to the nearest percentage point. Okay, type your answers in the boxes. Okay, so the first relative frequency we need will be plays a sport and plays an instrument. So go back to your data table. Actually, let me kind of clean up my screen real quick. Okay, so we had 2 here, we had 2 here, we had 7, 18, 18 over here, 7 over here. Okay, so to find the relative frequency for playing a sport and playing an instrument, I need this number 2, and then I'm going to divide by the total in the row, which is actually 18. So I'm going to do 2 divided by 18 to get this percentage. Okay, and then our question says to round to the nearest percentage point. So let's turn on our calculators, and we need 2 divided by 18. Okay, I see that's 0.1111, which is going to be 11%. If you ever get confused about that, you can just put times 100 in your calculator to see the number rounded as an overall percentage. Okay, and then when I look at the table, that number makes perfect sense to me, because when adding going across, I need 100% total. And it already has 89% filled in. So that would be another way to calculate the missing percentage there. Right? 100 minus 89 is 11. So this answer makes sense. All right, I'm going to leave the last one blank and give the rest of you opportunity to show me that you are learning what we're doing. Please go ahead and submit this cool down before 11 p.m. tomorrow night. Have a good weekend, guys. Bye.